This is the future. Evolution. This is the future. Evolution.
I don't know if it's me, but you guys gotta let me know. Isn't that second song like blast your eardrums out? I don't know. You know, I started out with that, as Monica says, that nice meditative song. It puts you in that Zen mode. Then all of a sudden, boom, 50,000 decibels later, the Misfits in the Conference blasting your eardrums. I don't know how to change that volume. I think that's in there when it was recorded. But it is what it is. We've been blasting that now for a couple months. You're all kind of used to it. Thanks for coming on into late night. Good old BMR. I got Krista and I got Monica tonight. Brandi, internet issues. We might see the Southern Man text in an hour. I don't know if he shows up. He's co-host with Brent Thomas over there, and so we might see him in a little while. I don't know. But thanks to each and every single one of you coming on in. Don't forget, if you're new here, please subscribe to Bigfoot Michigan Rob on YouTube. The Blondes and the Booze Paranormal Podcast on YouTube. Monica Rollins, Our Paranormal World. Subscribe to Paranormal Paul. Donnie Cho Says Stuff. Truth or Tinfoil. I always forget another one. I think there's one more I'm forgetting. But at any rate, turn on your alert bells and you won't miss a single show. We're on like 7 days a week. I've actually added another show Fridays. You guys wanted it, so I'm putting out Story Time with BMR. It's doing pretty well, so go check that out. And I want to thank everybody for buying my books, of course. And you know what they are by now, right? But, you know, there's always somebody that comes on in that says, wow, Rob, you got a couple books out? Well, yeah, I do. They're on Amazon. Bigfoot Michigan presents True Cryptid Encounters Book 1 and Book 2, both found on Amazon. Please just type Bigfoot Michigan in your Amazon browser. Leave a review for those of you that bought it. First, I thank you. And secondly, when Amazon sends you that email, leave the review. It's all analytics. It does help promote book sales. Thank you for that. Super Chat's open. Great way to help support what we all do around here, as well as you can become a BMR pirate. Arr! Join today, mateys. Join the many. Join the few. Depends on your point of view. What you get? Yeah, you get a picture of me. Yeah, that's what you get. Sporting a bandana next to yourself in the chat room. So I'm going to bring up the girls. Krista.
Hey.
Hello, Krista. And of course, Miss Rollins.
Hey, hey.
Ms. Rollins. Hey, everybody.
Hello. Hello, girls.
Hello.
And really briefly, and I brought you up a little earlier, Krista, because you damn well know that I cannot read the flyer.
Put it up there. I got it.
Yeah, I got the flyer. Yeah, I got to find the flyer. I got so much stuff in here, you guys. Ooh, so much.
You don't have to put it up. You know what, guys? This is late show. We advertise.
Well, we have the conference now.
Just get your tickets. Blondes and Booze on Eventbrite.
You know,
there.
You know what? That's a good point.
Great people. We're gonna have a good time. Come and
we'll
see.
all be there. That's the most important thing. Monica will be there. Krista will be there. Good old BMR will be there. Donnie Cho will be there. Paranormal Paul will be there. Tex will be there. Jason McLean will be there. Our tech guru Randy will be there.
Mm-hmm.
And then we've got like 20 other well-known people, speakers, and featured guests.
Yep.
Check it out. The 19th and the 20th. And if you happen to get down there on a Thursday, you know, we'll be gallivanting somewhere dark and creepy.
Yep.
You know, buildings without windows. We'll be throwing back some libations somewhere. Be a lot of fun. I'm looking forward to it.
Yeah, me too. It's going to be a good time. So just come join us.
Very good. So it's Super Bowl weekend. And I know it's not a sports show, but for the last time, I don't know what I'm doing for the Super Bowl because my Lions didn't make it. And now in retrospect, Monica, I probably should have went to New Orleans.
But you would have missed seeing them lose.
I would have missed them lose. Yeah. I wouldn't have seen them lose because I'm sure I wouldn't have been watching the Lions down in New Orleans.
Why would you do that?
No, yeah, you can't really do that.
There's no sports bar there that you could have wandered into.
Yeah, I'm sure I would have found one. But, you know, but at any rate, yeah, that's the Super Bowl. You guys doing anything for the Super Bowl really quick, Krista?
Just the family. We're just going to make like a few appetizers and things like that. Girls like doing that, so that's it.
I will say this, Monica, what are you doing anything? You an NFL I know you're an NFL fan. You play fantasy football, which is kind of cool for a chick.
Why, thank you.
Very much.
Cool for a chick.
Yeah.
For a chick, you know.
I know we're in our 50s, but still, I still feel like I'm 25, you know?
That's cool. That's cool.
Yeah.
For the Super Bowl, every year I make this cheese dip that Chris really likes, and I only make it for the Super Bowl because it will clog your arteries if you eat it more than one time a year.
Okay, so what's in it?
So it's sausage and rotel and Velveeta. And if I throw fresh jalapenos in it, but it's an entire block, like the big blocks of Velveeta cheese into it, and beer. Sometimes I'll put beer in it.
Oh, wow, that's great.
Yeah.
What I'll be doing is sitting at home by myself. I'm going to. Yes, I am. I'm going to watch it. You know, I'm pretty much, it's post-mortem Lions. I'm just going to watch it because that's what we do.
You know what's going to happen? We'll all be watching it, and we'll all be on our texting back and forth about it. I guarantee it.
Probably. I was even thinking, since this will be the first year I'll be sitting at home, I was thinking if I could figure it out and not get charged for it, I was thinking about doing a show with the Super Bowl in the background. We all just sit around and just kind of, you know, that'd be cool. But, you know, you can't do that. NFL Network would just
Yeah.
You can
Charge
if you
me
do it live and you don't
charge. You don't
well,
have
yeah,
this.
well, you don't
Don't
charge,
Don't
but you don't
monetize it.
yeah, well, you don't keep it on your channel.
Oh.
You delete it.
Oh, okay. That's interesting.
I'm not saying they won't flag you during it, but
Well,
Right.
they won't come after you after the fact, potentially, I would imagine.
Right.
So in other words, have a show, have it on, delete when the game's over and when the show ends. Yeah, it's kind of not a bad. I'm not going to do all that, but because I'm just going to sit there and wallow away.
Greg Ogle says he's looking forward to some Long Island iced tea.
Yeah.
Nice.
Yeah, I'm still going to do a little thing. I usually for the Super Bowls, I'll be honest with you guys. And for those of you joining the late show for the first time, we're on 7 days a week. Now, this show is a variety of everything. We talk food. We just talk bizarre stuff.
Mhm.
You know, and we'll do a little story a little later. We do the bizarre news segment. But this for us is kick back because the other shows are a little more serious. So we just like to have fun on this show. And you guys seem to like it. So that's what we do on Saturday night at 11 o'clock. And, you know, I was saying the last couple of years, well, me and my brother always watched ever since we were little boys, even when we were married and had different houses, this, that, and the other. We all have different houses. But me and my brother always watched the Lions every Sunday. In fact, it was a prerequisite at marriage with the wives. This is what we do on Sunday. Otherwise, we're not getting married. So they, agreed. Now, my sister-in-law, Karen, she loves the Lions anyway, which is cool. When I was married, my wife didn't know football existed, which I should have known from the beginning that we were getting divorced somewhere down the road, which we did. Because that was, kind of, boring. But I left her every Sunday, went to my brother's. Didn't matter. But anyway, so that's but I don't do the Super Bowl party no more. Even the last decade, it's been me and my brother hanging out, watching the game. I used to do the Super Bowl party, and the thing that I hate about the Super Bowl party is when I used to go back a decade or so ago and earlier, I never remember the Super Bowl. And there was a lot of great games because you just got so inebriated that, who played in the Super Bowl yesterday?
Yeah.
So, yeah, I missed a lot of the Super Bowls because of memory functionality wasn't working.
Yeah, I remember a few of those kind of Super Bowl parties.
Yeah. I remember the time that I had, but I just don't remember the game. So,
So Greg Ogle says Monica likes vodka straight. Is that
I
true?
don't. No, I actually can't stand vodka. I'm a gin girl. I like gin.
Yeah, gin's good.
see, I can't drink gin.
I like gin. I like vodka, any of it.
I used to drink Tanqueray, and I became mean, so I quit it.
That's smart.
Oh,
BMR, and I'm not a mean guy, but if I drink Tanqueray, I haven't drank that in 30 years. I just got all terribly.
You turn into a D word, right?
Yes, none of you guys would like me drinking that. No, I didn't like myself, so I quit that a long time ago. I'm more of a beer guy. Now, when it comes to shots, I like the very good tequilas, and that's really it. I don't drink whiskey or nothing like that.
I can't even smell whiskey anymore.
Yeah. When I drink, though, I'm a happy drunk. I love everybody.
Yeah, well,
I do too. I'm
a happy
best friend.
Yeah, I'm a happy drunk. If I didn't like you, I would love you.
Yeah.
Yeah,
I'm
telling everybody how awesome they are.
Yeah, everyone is my best friend too, Monica. It's all about having a good time.
Yep, it is. And you know what, though? There's nothing wrong with that. It's better than fighting.
No, definitely. And I like making friends with strangers too. I've always liked doing that.
I can talk to anybody sober though, so that doesn't matter to me.
Oh no, I can't too easily. I'm the guy. I'm at the gas station, like I tell you all the time, and I talk to people. And now I'm getting to the point where, hey, do you believe in Bigfoot? Long line. Hey,
right?
They're like, look at me, big what? Big what?
What?
Bigfoot. Oh, are you a spokesperson for beef jerky? No, I'm not.
Yeah.
Yeah, you get that. So anyway, thanks for everybody for coming on in. I've got some little bit of bizarre news that we can break down a little bit.
Cool.
It's just kind of there's 3 of them which are interesting. So I try to do each and every Saturday night, and then I do have this other weird story that we'll talk about as well. See what you guys think. You might have heard it a long time ago. I have so many stories I've told you guys. It's hard for me to keep track of which ones I said and haven't. Now, I got like over 100. But I always have my go-tos, and there's some that I don't even go to at all, which I got to start doing and remembering to do. But this segment, for those of you that are new here, is called Bizarre News. And I'm going to get that rolling for us all. And we didn't do it last week because we had the awesome little ghost investigation. So I don't even know where I put my little cool little thing. Oh, I found it. Here we go. I must admit it is kind of sweet. So anyways.
Adorable. It's adorable.
Oh, is it adorable? Thank you.
Adorable.
Oh, my God. So, first news item. Homeowner makes haunting discovery under floorboards of a 250-year-old house. An unsettling feeling. And this was January 29th, you guys, of 2025. If only these floors could talk. A homeowner named Amelia sent TikTok viewers, yes, TikTok, a heading for the hills post. It was bone chilling, as she describes. A discovery under the floor of her 250-year-old home. The object was that of an ancient looking book. And I do have a picture that I'll show after I get done with this. She thought to herself, when this young lady, Amelia, found this, she's wondering, how long has this been here? She just came across it doing some, they're tearing out the floors, putting new floors or something. I can't believe what I found. As she had noticed a peculiar rectangular object wedged underneath some older floorboards. I have been feeling uneasy ever since I found it. One of the photos was of Edward VII. It was an Edward VII 1904 penny, a cool but fairly common cent piece that was minted during the British monarch's reign from 1901 to 1910. Then, things took a creepy turn the deeper she went into the book. I noticed what seemed like a very creepy photo of my house, said Amelia, while showcasing this on the corresponding pages on this thing that I read. The rest of the album is filled with pictures of empty rooms that have an unsettling feeling. She observed that a dark shadow appeared in all of the photos, which made sense because she's seen dark shadows in her home. As of yet, the story behind this unsettling photo seems to be unclear, but some believe that she best leave the book alone or put it back underneath where she found it. So that's that. And I will pull up a picture of this book that she found. And I got to tell you, well, we'll get into it when we talk about this, but here's a picture of the book. You see, there's like, that's pretty old looking.
It's definitely an oldie.
Yeah.
Kind of does have like some creepy vibes to it.
Well, here's the thing. Again, do we know if this is all made up just to get 15 minutes of fame or what? But I will tell you this. If that was true and I found a book like that underneath if I was doing some remodeling or found it in a wall or anything that I found that was peculiar, I think it would give me a little bit of the creeps, especially a book. Because I know there's certain books you should not read from at all. She mentioned seeing a picture of her house, and then she mentioned there's dark pictures of some dark shadows. Then she did make mentions she saw some dark figures in her own home. So I'm just wondering if this book had anything to do with it, you guys.
Well, I'm curious what it's a book of, because I'm assuming they were loose photos in the book.
Yeah, there's more. It's a video, and I didn't want to put the video because I don't get a copy strike. But thumbing through the book, though, Monica, there were like pictures in there. I think they were black and white, so she kind of thumbed through on the video page,
Mm-hmm.
and it was of her house and the area. But there was no writings in the book. I'd like to have read from the book, or at least if there was a page you could read.
Like what kind of a book is it? Like what? Yeah. I'm just curious what.
Mark makes a good point. I'd make sure it wasn't covered in human skin. Remember those books?
Well, I think we talked about this some time ago, but about the Book of the Damned or the Book of the Dead. Isn't that supposed to be bound in human skin? And I got to ask, 'cause I forgot. Is that a real book?
Yeah.
Comic-Con?
I mean, is it wrapped in human skin? Is what I'm saying. I know there's
a lot of
copies
books like antiquity that are wrapped in human skin.
Yep.
That wasn't probably
It's a thing.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
But the Book of the Dead, that's a story.
Now, what's behind the Book of the Dead? Is that supposed to be okay? A guy like me, or Monica, or Krista, or whoever else, if we read it, is this something we shouldn't read?
Yeah, that's not something you read
Really?
out loud, especially. Yeah, no, I mean, you can read it, but it's got the potential to expose you to a lot of very negative things. Like it's like a. Do you remember in Hocus? Did you see Hocus Pocus? Are you the one that never watched Hocus Pocus?
I am. Yeah.
Okay, so in Hocus Pocus, they open up the witch's grimoire, and they can't see it, but it shines this giant light up that like you can see for miles around. It's similar, like I would think to that because it draws things into it. It's like a beacon. Mm-hmm. I'm not saying it literally shines light, but I mean it attracts things like that.
Mm-hmm.
Is that kind of like? And you said don't read it aloud. Are you suggesting that there could be incantations and you could summons up evil?
Yeah. There's potential. I wouldn't read any book I didn't know out loud.
Right.
If you don't know what the words are that you're sounding out, you don't know what they mean.
Yeah.
Don't say it.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
You don't want some weird, Sanskrit, Sumerian, like not that you could read that, but I mean, you don't want.
But even in another language, if you sound it out and, trying to read it out loud, and you could be inviting something,
Yeah, you don't know what you're doing. Yeah.
It always goes back to inviting something, right? And we can inadvertently invite something in everyday life too, even.
Mm-hmm.
I was watching some show where it kind of creeped me out, where they started incantations on the television program, and I didn't make out the words, but I felt them to be very creepy, and it was being broadcast into my house. I believe, and we talked about this before, I know with Krista I did, maybe you too, Monica. I think that, especially folks like us, we have an open mind, we look into these things. I think that, do you think that even through a TV, you could actually invite something in despite the fact that it's, technology?
Oh, sure.
Same thing too. They tell people, like who listen to EVPs in their home, you could be opening your home up to something that wasn't there, but you're going back listening. You could invite something in.
Yeah. I mean, consider like, all those things that are spiritual or energy. It's all energy.
Right.
And if you're using electronics, that's right up their alley. That's right on their vibe.
Right. Yep.
So
I do.
So you make a good point. So the moral to the story is, I mean, whether this was something true, I mean, they did a video, showed the book. Again, people who are very creative, I get it. But to pull out any truth over this, though, is like you said, if you're unfamiliar with something that you're reading, first of all, don't read it out loud. Keep it to yourself. Don't broadcast it, because you just don't know what you're getting into.
Right. And another thing is too, like you watch, videos on YouTube or or whatever, and they say like a demon's name, like you don't want to hear that. Like
No.
when I watch a TV show and they already say a demon's name, I'll mute it like quicker than crap because I don't want to hear it. I don't want that coming out of my TV. It's like I don't know for sure, but what if that you just called it from your TV?
Sure.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Don't read out loud and don't break any seals.
Right.
If you find something sealed up,
Leave it.
Really?
Same thing like with like doors, like she said, if it's sealed, sealed for a reason. Don't try to,
yeah. Don't F around or you're going to find out.
Right. It could be bad.
It could be.
So like, as far as that book, honestly, I put that book back in the wall. Myself.
Well, that was my other question. Here's my thing. Yeah, you're in your home. It's an older home. You've seen pictures of your home. You've seen that shadow in the book. You allegedly saw shadows in your house, this, that, and the other. And if I came across that, like people suggested in that video, put it back where you found it. I don't know that I'd put it back in my house and cover it up if I was doing remodeling, because I would always know in the back of my mind, I got this creepy ass book, sealed up somewhere in my house. And I think I would always wonder about that.
It was there for a reason, though. That's my thing. It was there for a reason. And it could be like nothing major, but what if it is, or what if it, somebody's ticked, you took it out of the wall. Now you have all havoc in your house, you don't know.
If it's some kind of protection that you need.
Exactly.
It can go the other way too. It can be
bingo.
Could be bad. It could be helpful.
Right.
It was there to maybe cast away evil or something.
Right.
Yeah.
So not to be redundant, I'll start with Monica and then Krista. If you found that in your home, would you read it? However,
no,
I probably would out of curiosity because
I don't think I would.
I would be very curious what it was, trying to figure out why it's in the wall. Because if I were to put context to it and I read it and I felt like it's, maybe keeping things at bay, I would probably keep it in the wall. If I felt like it was the source of what's happening, I would probably get rid of it because you don't know who put it in the wall either. Maybe somebody was trying to curse the original residents and they snuck it in there.
Right. Exactly. And there's another thing too that people used to do, and this is true, like a lot of older homes, people used to bury their shoes in homes, and it was supposedly to ward off evil spirits. So if you find a pair of shoes in your walls, leave them.
Leave the shoes.
Yep.
The devil don't like shoes in the walls.
really, if you find shoes in a wall, don't wear them. What if they're nice brand new Nikes or something?
Yeah, they're there for a reason. Leave them.
I'd be concerned of how brand new Nikes got in my wall.
Right.
I'd be more concerned with how did the brand new white.
Well, what if they were 1957 Converse? Okay, with high top.
Yeah.
Why? What's the deal with the shoes? Why don't you remove the shoes? I never heard that.
That was supposed to be like, it's supposed to ward away negative. Back in the day, they used to do that. I'm telling you, I promise you.
There's
The only thing I heard about shoes, if you see a set of shoes strung up on a power line, don't take them down. You'll get shot. I've heard that one before.
That's true. That's true. It's supposed to protect from evil spirits, and that the good spirit in the shoe would ward off evil spirits. So.
Okay.
Mm-hmm.
That's a new one on me. I hadn't heard that. That's interesting.
Yeah, no. But I thought it was pretty cool. I mean, yeah. Oh, to answer the question that I asked you two, I would probably have read the book. I would have thumbed through it at least, started to read it. I would have been inquisitive about it, and I think, unlike you two, maybe today I would put it back, like because you guys give great explanations. But back in the day, I probably would have kept out the book, put it somewhere, or got rid of it.
Well, a lot of people don't know either, like, oh, there's a book. Why is a book in the wall? Let's just throw it and they toss it out or whatever, They don't know.
Yeah. They don't
But I
stop
always
to think,
would
why
wonder-
is a
Why is
book
Right.
in the wall.
I
Right.
think the only thing that I would not put back in a wall or get rid of if I was doing remodeling and I found a bunch of money.
But what
I'm
if that
keeping-
money is jinxed?
I'll take much. Depends how much it is.
Then it'll be the bank's problem.
Yeah. There you go.
Gonna have a haunted vault.
Well, I'm going to tell you guys a true. I'm going to tell you guys a true story about a friend of mine he passed away about 5 years ago. He bought this house. He was doing some remodeling, and yes, this is a true story. He was doing some remodeling, and they were busting out the ceiling in the garage. He wanted to make the upper garage a flat for his son to have a studio up there for his kid, right?
Mhm.
And he's going through, and they're busting it out, and he's doing it himself because that was his trade. He was a builder. He was a home builder. And he calls me like a week or two later. He goes, "Rob, you got to come over here, man." I said, "Well, I'm not helping with the remodeling, dude. If that's what you want." I said, "I'm just kidding. I'll come over and help you.
Mhm.
I like tearing stuff apart. I'm not very good at putting it back together." So anyway, there's this bundle of cash. It was all $100 bills, you guys. It was $100,000. I kid you not.
Holy
Wow.
cow.
Tightly wrapped. And it reminded me of the money that gets so tightly wrapped involved in illegal activity.
Hmm.
Mhm. And I
Mhm.
said, "Man, I don't." He goes, "What should I do?" I said, "Well, number one, don't put it in the bank.
Yeah, they'll be like, where'd you get all this?
Where'd you get that money?"
Right.
And I said, "Secondly, don't spend a dime of it."
Nope.
I said, "Give me a couple hundreds off the top. I'll see if they're counterfeit for you." Just kidding. So I would sit on it. I said, "Dude, don't just sit on it
Mhm.
for a while, because if this is like, drug dealer money, they're going to be coming looking for this.
Bank
Who's
robbery
gonna come
money
looking?
too,
Bank robbery money.
Right.
right? Those they're waiting for those serial numbers to come out and start circulation again.
Mhm.
So I said I'd sit on it for a couple months.
I'd sit on it longer than a couple months.
I just, whatever I said,
I'd find a way to launder it.
I would sit on it.
Mhm.
I said, yeah, Monica's funny. I say, what you could probably do is just take 100 off and just spend hundreds and get the change back and just put that,
And when you do spend it, don't go out and buy a house or a car or something, just
Yeah,
go
no,
grocery
you
shopping
spend-
with it or fill your car up with it,
No, what I would have done is bought gift cards, but I don't think we had gift cards back when I was taught. I don't think they existed. Put $200 on a gift card. Go take your vacations. Do all your, your grocery money. But then, Monica, you brought up the point. If it was stolen from a bank, there's going to be these serial
Right.
numbers, because as soon as
Yeah.
you pass that money,
They'll find you.
boom, you're the one going to jail, or you have,
Yep. Yep.
That's why I said I'd find a way to launder it.
Mhm.
I know you. That's why I like Monica. She thinks the way I do. And I like Krista too. I love all my girls on the show. But anyway, so we're going to tie that up. I'm going to go with the next bit of bizarre news. I'm not going to replay that. Everyone's seen it. It's kind of redundant there. But so this third one, this is. Oops, hang on. I'm going to skip down. Actually, okay. This one, you guys, is kind of weird. This is demon face syndrome, and yes, I have pictures for this one. I guess the demon face syndrome, they're going to say this was a rare condition that makes everyone look satanic. And this was published in March 22nd. And again, this article goes on to say, so much see no evil, so much for see no evil.
Mhm.
Perceiving demonic and horrific entities might seem like a horror movie. However, Tennessee's Victor Shera sees monsters everywhere due to an ultra rare condition called demon face. Demon face syndrome that causes everyone to look like they have an evil smile, or in some cases, something far worse, per a groundbreaking study published by The Lancet out of Harvard University. You can't, and here's the guy, he says, paraphrasing, he says, you can't imagine how scary it was, the 59-year-old Clarksville native told NBC News while describing his distorted perception disorder. Then it goes on to say that they made a computer-generated images of what this man sees. I have the pictures to show at the end of this, of course. So the truck driver reportedly first realized something was going afoul in 2020 after he noticed a disfigured, demonic-looking man in his apartment who ended up turning out to be his roommate. Then he ventured outside and realized that everyone looked like demons or horrific creatures. Sheriff, for a moment, thought that he had died and gone to hell. But he knew that he could not be in hell because he says, as he states, he was a God-fearing Southern boy. He says, my first thought when I woke up in a demon world ran by Lucifer. He exclaims to the reporter from NBC. He says he was really freaking out at that point, and he thought about going and committing himself to a psychiatric care. Okay. You can't imagine how scary it was, blah, 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 he says. So it goes on to say, now we're getting into the science part of it. It goes on to say that the Tennessean suffers from, and this word is like 90 letters long. I'm pretty good at reading, but this is like prosopagmatophobia, or PMO. We call it PMO.
Okay.
Whatever. A bizarre affliction that visually distorts faces every time the sufferer looks at a person, making them look or appear satanic, says the report. Visions vary depending on the person, specifically regarding eye shape, size, color, and position of facial features. PMOs can last for days, weeks, or in some reported cases, years. Cher described his symptoms of this, which is, again, an exceedingly rare condition, of which only 75 cases have been recorded in the world.
Wow.
In the aforementioned study, this was conducted by researchers, though, at Dartmouth College in New Hampshire.
Interesting.
So goes on. Certainly, certain people feel like they're seeing monsters everywhere due to this condition. Blah blah blah. Okay, I already said that. Okay, interestingly, the trucker didn't see these creepy countenances when viewing facial representations on screen or paper. And unlike some symptoms of schizophrenia or other psychological disorders. However, he did say that it's only with human beings, you guys. So he says objects, houses, cars, flowers, the forest are normal. It's only with human beings. And it goes on to say, yada, yada, there's ongoing studies to help treat this. There's no treatment. So this poor guy, he's 59 years old. And to end this, he says he's now 62 years old. And for the last 3 years, you guys, everybody, friends, family, people on the street, people at the mall, look like demons till this day.
So he sees them looking like demons.
He sees them looking like demons. And I got to tell you, this poor guy, we'll get into it, but here's what this is, the rendition, an artist's rendition, because obviously you can't snap a picture because no one will see it except for him.
Sure.
So here's some of the renditions. Here's the dude, there's the Southern dude up right hand corner. But there's kind of some of the renditions that he so the one, so you see the faces, how they kind of look really weird. That's kind of creepy, man.
Yeah, that's pretty weird.
Could you imagine walking through life and seeing everybody that looked like that, distorted like that?
Wow.
I thought that there was some bizarre diseases that I would never want to catch. But if I spent the last 3 years of my life looking at my friends, my family, especially, or people that
Right.
look like that for 3 years, I would probably never leave my house.
Yeah, I don't
Yeah.
think I would either. I'd be a shut-in.
You know,
Yeah.
I'd be the perfect example of a true homebody.
I wonder if animals look normal or if they.
No, I
need-
said
you know,
I if I did not say that animals look
you might have said
normal,
animals. Okay.
and, you know, everything, but it's only just human beings.
That's so weird.
That is odd.
How do your eyes? Yeah, I don't know. It's just weird.
And you know, they say 75 known cases. I mean, well, that we know of. I mean, I never heard of that ever. You guys ever hear of anything like that? You know, in your lifetime,
I
or
have.
anything similar?
I remember reading that article, and I had not heard of anything like that prior to the article. But I mean, with only 75 cases around the world, you know, that's not something that would probably be a front runner.
And I don't think, yeah, they're not going to pour
News.
tons of research dollars into something like that.
Right. But I mean, there's so many conditions that can happen to the human body. Like just, you know, the one that sticks out to me that I always thought was so strange before hearing this was, you know, there are people that, you know, suffer traumatic brain injuries, I want to say, or just a really good knock on the head, or they come out of a coma for whatever reason, and they start speaking with an accent that they did not have prior. And they're not trying to do it, they just do it. That's how they speak
Right.
now.
I've even heard similar cases where the same thing would happen, and they can speak another language, a different foreign language. You ever hear about that? I heard that before.
I have heard that. Which again, like I don't know how you would know that language to speak it all of a sudden. That's
well, no, I
right.
don't. Now, if that happened,
making-
you might
That
be.
throws up red flags to me.
yeah.
That would be like a second life thing, if you believe in that sort of thing, right?
Well, it could be.
I was thinking more. You're almost like on a demonic side. You're possessed.
Yeah, I would think of a
Oh, well.
possession of some kind because you don't just have that knowledge stored. You just
Yeah.
it's not floating in the air for you to absorb somehow.
Yeah, you can't really represent something you've never experienced ever, right?
Mhm.
Right. And then to speak it fluently.
Yeah.
That would be bizarre. I wouldn't mind if that happened to me, though.
Greg Ogle says, my son spoke Latin after waking up from a coma.
Wow. Really?
Wow.
That's cool. I've been trying to find somebody to teach me Latin. It's very difficult to find courses in Latin.
Sure.
Mm.
Yeah.
Even that one thing they always advertise. I'm getting really good. I'm pretty good with Spanish because I took it, and that I also, when I was growing up, and even through adulthood, I spent a lot of time in Mexican village, and they all speak Hispanic. So I can speak it to it. I can, if I was in Mexico, I would never be lost, and I could probably get my way around and understand people,
Sure.
and I can read it pretty easily.
It's like me with German.
Yeah, that's cool. See, I'm part German. I don't know a lick of German.
I am too. That's why I learned it. Yeah, actually, I learned it because everybody assumed I spoke Spanish, and it ticked me off enough to where I would answer them in German. If you would just come up to me and start prattling on in Spanish, making assumptions, I would answer you in German.
There you go. Good for
That
you.
confused a lot of men.
Yeah.
Yeah, I bet you were something to handle in your younger days. Okay, we'll move on.
Yeah, my younger days. That's it.
Yeah, well, we're all young. We're all young at heart, I still can't get over the fact that I'm, had a birthday not too long, as well as you. Depressing.
Yeah, after a certain point, it does become like.
I'm like Mickey. I know some bad words in Spanish.
Yeah, I know.
I can tell people all the different ways to go somewhere in Spanish.
Yeah.
Right.
And you can smile at them, and they think that you're saying something nice. That's the cool part about it. Tell someone to F off with a smile. They're like, oh, thank you. Like, yeah, thank you too.
German's such a harsh language. Just saying good morning sounds pretty mean.
Oh, really? What is give us what is good morning in German?
Guten Morgen.
Guten Morgen.
Guten Morgen.
Morgen.
Guten Morgen. Guten Morgen.
Guten
Guten Morgen. Guten Morgen.
Guten Morgen. You sound
Morgen.
like the Swedish.
I
Guten
know.
Morgen.
Yeah. Guten Morgen. Eh? Hello.
Or I
Yeah.
want to buy that. Das zu kaufen.
Oh my gosh. No, I don't know about that coffin.
Kaufen.
sounds-
To buy.
But it
To
sounds
buy.
like a coffin.
I
I
was learning Navajo. I took that Duolingo thing. I was starting to to learn Navajo.
That's cool.
it is really cool. And they should, in fact, in schools, they should teach kids. Well, who cares about this? Well, no, not that who cares. They barely teach them anything in school anyway. I was going to suggest all kids should know at least Hispanic or Spanish, right? I think you should, because that's probably the second most, at least in my lifetime, sought after language that everyone should learn, because we all travel. You go to the Caribbean, well, not all of us, Caribbean, Mexico, they all speak it. Different dialects, but you can pick up on it, right?
Yeah, you get it. You get the gist.
Yeah. So on to another, excuse me, bizarre news. And I love Alaska. I've never been, would like to go. And guys, Alaska's creepy. And this is another creepy part of Alaska. And when I show you guys the picture after this, not that they're creepy pictures, I cannot imagine living here. And this, yeah, really, I'll show you guys in a minute. But this little article or snippet it says, in the small town isolated in Nome, Alaska, where the night sky stretches endlessly, strange stories of UFO sightings have circulated for decades. I think we all know that. One of the most chilling encounters occurred in the winter of 2000. Yes, this isn't current. 2000, sorry. When the nights were long and the air was thick with silence. Very dramatic writer, this guy, right? A local man named Tom, a fisherman accustomed to the strangeness of the wilderness, was out on the frozen Bering Sea late one evening. He was headed home after a long day with his snowmobile cutting through the darkness when he noticed an odd glow in the sky. At first, he thought it was just the northern lights, common in Alaska winters, but the light didn't dance like the auroras. It was still hovering, and it grew brighter, almost blinding. Curious and unsettled, Tom stopped in his snowmobile to get a better look. What he saw next chilled him to his core. The light descended slowly, revealing a massive, silent object, circular with strange patterns etched into its metallic surface. It hovered just above the tree line, emitting a low humming sound that reverberated in his chest. As Tom stood frozen, trying to make sense of what he was seeing, the object emitted a series of flashing lights, each pulse brighter than the last. Then, in a sudden burst of speed, it shot straight up into the sky, disappearing in seconds, leaving only an eerie silence behind. When Tom returned to town, he told his friends of the story. Some believed him, others did not. One Alaskan native says, "I seen the same thing. It was hovering over his farm and took 6 of his cattle up into the air." Gone. To this day, no one in Nome can explain what Tom saw or the old Alaskan native, but they do know that Nome, Alaska is known for a lot of alien and UFO activity, especially with its desolate nature of where it exists in the state of Alaska. And I got to tell you something. I would not want to live. I mean, I don't know about this place. I've heard of Nome, Alaska, and I didn't look it up until I had to see what this place looks like. But this is the town. Looks like your quaint little, whatever, a little town. This is a summertime picture. Okay. Now here's Nome, Alaska in the summer. Now look at that. That's the town. Okay. I wish there was a little better picture, but as you can see, it's right at the Bering Sea, nothing in back. And that's the community. That's it right there, you guys. That is Nome, Alaska, and the residents and the buildings and the houses. Now that's the summer. But what really sucks, that's okay. It's kind of cool, I guess. I could spend a week there and just hang out if it was not Alaska, Nome, Alaska. Here it is in the winter. Come on, man. Yeah. You want to live there?
No.
Nope.
Yeah,
No.
no. So and the reason I show the pictures, you guys, is because I can see an absolute possibility where you see all sorts of weird, high strangeness, right?
Mm-hmm.
It's desolate. No one's going to believe you. No one's going to.
Sure.
You're going to report it to.
Yeah. No thanks.
Yeah, good. All good.
Mm-hmm.
The only thing that I find odd about that story is how the one native Alaskan, I don't know that you would have a farm with. How would they have? They got taken up into that craft this other guy saw. Do they even raise cattle in Alaska? I don't think they do.
Yeah. I don't know. That I don't know. I've never been there.
Yeah, it seemed like you could in the winter at least.
Well, yeah.
You know?
And I don't know what the there are certain parts of Alaska where it's 24 hours of darkness, 24 hours of sun, but
Right.
it's only in certain parts though, right? Some sections is like
I thought all of Alaska, but I could be wrong. I don't know a whole lot about
I
Alaska.
thought so too, but I started checking some things out. It's only in certain
Okay.
sides, east to west, north to south. I don't know, but the the days are longer and the nights are longer. It might be 12 hours on, 12 hours off. And then I heard 24 on, 24 off.
I don't
I'm
know.
not quite sure on that.
Yeah, I can't answer that. All I know is that Alaska has some beautiful scenery, though.
Mm-hmm.
I would like to go to Alaska.
I'd love to go to Alaska. I'd love to go to Portlock specifically.
Yeah, in the summer,
Yeah.
though.
I'd love to go to Portlock. That would be so awesome to go.
Amy says, yes, they raise cattle in Alaska, but probably not in Nome.
Yeah, I agree with that.
Well, they'd have to be where, like they have access to hay and things like that,
Yeah, I see a lot of barns out there.
I did
They're
too. I'm
not
thinking,
free ranging.
Yeah.
and I'm thinking too that it probably makes sense that a lot of them are farmers because living in that desolate area away from everything, I think it would take forever to have anything transported in, right?
Well, yeah, that's why everything costs so much in Alaska.
Right. Mm-hmm.
It's
And,
yeah.
and that village looked too ritzy, did it? The first picture, it looked like those buildings
no.
there forever.
Right.
The farther north you go, the less inhabitable it looks. Even the inhabited places.
Agreed.
I will say, no, we all hear about the 411 in Alaska, but I think there it would be hard to get lost since it's so small, that part of it.
No, well, you think you probably got like bears and stuff. Polar bears come up in Egypt, so
Yeah.
you could go missing real quick, I think.
There's all no.
Well, no, by predators, yeah, for sure.
Yep.
But really quick, let's go back to this really quick though. I don't notice any forest around there. I guess that green must be forest, or is that like low?
Well, it's grasslands. I don't know about forest.
Yeah.
Mhm.
I've never seen quite a picture quite like Alaska like that. I've always seen the mountains in the background. I've always seen the forest,
Yeah, no. The farther north you get,
Okay.
even along the coast, it's barren.
Yeah.
Yeah, the trees don't go there.
However, it is a place I want to go, and I don't think I'll be abducted by an alien when I go.
You never know. Did you ever look at like the Inuit language though? Like their script? It looks alien to me. So you should look at it here. I'll try to share it. Because I was going to talk to Breezy about it last night on his show. So I have a
Why don't you
photo
pull
of
it up?
it.
I'm gonna do something really quick. So I got
Sure.
but yeah, I'll be right back.
Okay. Yeah.
Let's see.
I personally, talking about Alaska, I would be all for like an Alaskan cruise.
Oh yes, I definitely want to do that.
Mhm.
Yeah, my husband and I were talking about that.
Yeah. Just the landscape alone is just beautiful, I think.
Oh, I agree. My grandfather, before he passed away, told me, "Sissy, you got to go to Juneau, Alaska. It's the most beautiful place in the world."
Oh, and he's probably right.
Right.
Mm-hmm.
So that is,
Wow.
yeah, that's their script. And that
Wow.
looks like something you'd see on the side of a piece of metal nobody can identify at a crash site. You know?
Wow. Yeah, like that's
Isn't that
crazy.
crazy?
There's no way.
I mean, hats off. They learned it.
Yeah, more power to them. Oh yeah. Greg's still giving you a hard time. Monica loves vodka. Don't let her fool you.
Why the vodka trip? Why the vodka trip?
That's funny.
I don't understand where that came from.
That's just Greg. That is just Greg.
I'm just gonna latch onto something.
Did you find it already? Did I miss it?
Oh,
You missed
here.
it.
I'll show it again.
Okay.
I added it to your overlays.
Oh my gosh, yeah. Wow.
Isn't that crazy?
Yeah, and that's just like, I don't know, a sentence. Like it's the whole alphabet is like symbols.
Well, the top sentence says we will come.
Yeah. We are already here.
And the last one said we're not going back. Well, everybody, that of course will wrap up the nice little feature that we start the show out with, that I like to call, what I like to call, yes, indeed, the bizarre news every Saturday.
Bizarre news. I like doing that.
Yeah, it's pretty cool. I like this. Something different. If you're new here, we do things differently on this show compared to the rest.
Yeah.
But what I'm going to do, I got to share this. I don't know if you guys heard this. Now, I do know that. So I've been rolling out Friday nights, or not Friday nights, around 6. I do like some story time. And I got to tell you, that's doing pretty good. People seem to like it. And I did I did 3 Friday. And there was one that everyone seemed to really like. Now, if you're in chat, if you've seen it, if you always like religiously follow, you might have heard it. I'm not going to go through the whole 20-minute story because it's 20 minutes. So I'm going to do the Reader's Digest version because I'd like to get Krista and Monica's take on this, and people in chat if you want to leave your take. This is and I did the No Alaska one last since it was kind of like alien UFO style, and this is kind of a combination of like all the things we talk about throughout the week. If this is this young couple, and this guy sent me, I think his name's Rick or whatever, and he's like so this guy for 15 years he lived 10 miles outside of the Uinta Basin in Utah. And where he lived, he had a nice 3-acre piece of land. Hey, thank you, Mayhem. Appreciate that, buddy.
Thank you.
Super chats are always appreciated, not expected. So thanks, my man. So big parcel of property. And in the background, he had the woods. He's backed up to the woods, had a beautiful wood line. And then back of the wood line, it led to the mountains. And like he said, and there was this slow progression over the 15-year period that him and his wife, Amber, I remember her name, lived there. And they would always see at the top of the mountains a brilliant light show. And they described it as like blobby, like orbs they were thinking, but they were all different shapes, squares, round, oblong. And they were very pretty different colors. And they were almost like neon colors, like blues, pinks, purples, greens. And they would always be at the top of the background in the distance. And they would just dance around. And this would go on maybe 30 minutes. It was always right around a certain time at night, right before the sun went down. It was beautiful, right? And they're like, wow, they didn't really investigate it. They just thought it was, Mother Nature. Excuse me, you guys. So You drink. So, again, 15-year period. So, progressively throughout the 15 years, the light show appeared to be getting closer and closer to their home. It was just incremental. It would get closer. The objects would be a little bigger. Then now, all of a sudden, the light show, if you will, it got closer to their forest, and now they could see it hovering in the distance of the forest. And now the light show got closer and closer, and it was dancing. Now it's dancing about their tree line. And this is again very slow increments over 15 years, and it just kept seeming to be getting closer to the back of their home in Utah, the outside the Uintah Basin, which, as you all know, Skinwalker Ranch is Uintah Basin. So throughout this time period, though, they started doing a little bit of research, knew about the UFO activity, maybe even read it on the Skinwalker Ranch. So one night, all these orbs, this light show is just right at their tree line. And they're out there watching this. And then, of course, since they're closer, they're a little bit bigger, dancing about. They're not scared. They feel odd, peculiar, right? What's going on here is kind of weird over all this time period. Then all of a sudden, the orbs, the light show, if you will, they started darken. They turned almost like a blackish gray. And now the orbs proceeded to get closer. And Rick, excuse me, is telling me now they're like 200 yards from the back of the home. Now these orbs get lower to the ground, and then they manifested everybody. Creatures. All of a sudden, they took the form of creatures. And he went on to describe these creatures as being animals running around with human-like heads. Went on to say that some of them looked like wolves. Others were disfigured, odd, demonic-looking things.
You're kind of cutting out, BMR.
Can you hear me now?
Yeah.
Test 1 2, test 1 2, BMR.
Yep. You kind of cut out for just
Yeah,
okay, maybe I was getting away from the mic. Maybe I don't know. So there's all these demonic figures now, or not demonic, you guys, but men, dudes with heads on animals. So all this stuff, they start getting very creeped out. Then all of a sudden, a dark rain cloud covers these objects, and it starts to rain. But the thing about this rain, it only rained in their backyard, in their back proximity to the wood line in their home. Wasn't raining to the far right, the far left that they noticed. And when the rain came, it washed them all away. This happened one other time. A month or two later, light show gone, didn't come back. But now the husband and the wife, they're getting these odd dreams filled their head. Then one last night, again, it happened. The orb showed beautiful colors. Then they all of a sudden took the odd shapes and turned into these strange creatures. They got to the point that they were terrified, and they left their home. They got a realtor. They put their home up for sale, and before even selling their home, they took off for Idaho. And they got property outside of Spirit Lake, just outside of the mountains once again. So they get there. They were living in a hotel, motel, until they find a house to purchase, found a nice place. Again, same type of environment in the woods, in the forest. And again, for everybody listening, I'm leaving out a lot of detail because I don't want to do 20 minutes of this story because it's a pretty cool story. But case in point, boom, leave the basin of Utah, move to Idaho, beautiful, got their house, finally sold the house in Utah, this, that, and the other. Life's great. They're living there 3, 4, 5 months. So one night or one day or one day during the daytime, they went walking on a trail around the Spirit Lake area, and they had a great time doing this, that, whatever they were doing, hanging out. And then they noticed it was getting dusky dawn, so they decided to go back on the trail, which was maybe about another mile they had to go to get to their vehicle. And just as the sun is setting, they get on this trail, a much frequently traveled trail. It's like a kind of a public trail, man-made. And they're walking about this trail, everybody, and then about 100 feet, not yards like at the house, about 100 feet, guess what appears? The dancing colored orbs and objects are in the trail ahead of them.
Huh.
And they both stop and they look at each other, and they just said, this is exactly the beautiful images. At the time, it's still beautiful, bright dancing orbs. But they got spooked because they know what they ended up turning into, and they danced about in front of them. So they stop, and there's nowhere to go on this trail. To the left, to the right is dense forest. This is the trail. To get off of the trail, to get to their vehicle, they have to go down this trail toward these orbs. But they're waiting. Then all of a sudden, the orbs, they just kind of vanish. Where this guy Rick says that him and his wife Amber, they sprinted down the trail. They got to their SUV. Get to their SUV, they go home. On the way home, they're both, oh my gosh, what is this? I mean, were we followed? What's going on here? They can't figure this out. They're kind of frightened. However, they were kind of relieved that they didn't turn into the ghastly images from Utah, right? So they get home and they're out in their backyard, again, on their back deck. The beautiful orbs once again appear in the tree line of their new home in Idaho. And they're advancing. They turn dark. And again, the images of these creepy creatures, beings, whatever you want to call it, men with men's heads on animals, wolf-like creatures, disfigured, demonic-looking things, and they're getting closer and closer to the house, much like Utah. Then once again, you guys, here comes the dark. The rain settles in and washes them away. Same situation, two different states, same couple, same environment. Rob, I don't know what this is, as he tells me at the end. Him and his wife says, I'm going to tell you this. I'm not disclosing now. I've moved for a third time. And hopefully, whatever this was does not follow me to my house. He says, knock on wood. Life's been good. But now the wife and I are always wondering what we captured or what followed us and if we're going to see this again. He said, I'll give you an update down the road. But right now, life's good. This, that, and the other. So, I don't know, you guys. I mean, I've heard some wild stories before, but I got to tell you what. I can't figure that out for the life of me.
Yeah, that's.
I don't have any thought or opinion on it, really. I mean, I don't know. What do you guys think about that?
I don't know what to think about that.
Maybe it's on a, I don't know, obviously some kind of spiritual level. Maybe they have some kind of an attachment, that kind of thing going on. Thanks, T-Bone.
Oh, that was sweet, T-Bone.
But, maybe they got something like that going on since it's following them. Maybe it's them. It's not where to go.
But here's the, but what type of attack? Do you guys associate with UFO activities, a demonic? I mean, to me, first of all, you think it's like a spiritual activity?
Well, I mean, it could be, but, like the more we do this, the more we realize that, everything is connected in some way. So it could very well be, And, you mentioned the orbs, same thing, I mean, I know I've seen orbs out in the woods. I don't know what they are. So.
Yeah, I've seen orbs, but I don't know. Like, I I'm trying to figure out if it's spiritual, why it would manifest so far away and then slowly get back.
Right.
That doesn't make a lot of sense to me.
See, that's my thing. We've all heard these types of stories with, well, maybe not quite like this one, but to start out, when they were in Utah, 15 years, they see the lights. During that 15-year period, you guys, the light show, whatever you want to call it, is getting closer and closer, and they enjoyed it. They looked forward to seeing it every night. Didn't know what it was, weren't threatened by it. Then the closer it got, the more ominous it became until it kind of
I don't
turned
know.
into something that
It's like a
terrified,
nightmare.
like a nightmare.
I would probably lean more towards extraterrestrial, but I don't understand the forms, getting washed away by rain.
Right.
That's really weird. Unless it was extraterrestrials, instead of abduction, they're keeping you there, but they're still doing experiments on you, right? Some sort of psychological manipulation to make you see this.
Yeah, could absolutely be.
Riley, Ron, you can chat, buddy.
Yeah, we can see your chat.
Yeah, we see you.
Yeah, so I don't know. That's just
that's really bizarre. That's a
weird story.
It's really weird. It's hard to really put together and dissect. When I get these things, I don't really question them. I just present them as I get them. But do you think? Yeah, go ahead, Krista.
I was just gonna say, as investigators, say, these people would call us in. You'd have to investigate it on every level and mark things off the box what it's not. I would think. Would you agree, Monica? It's that something like that wouldn't be like a one-time investigation. You'd have to go.
No, that would be a
like I said, mark it off the box. Check. It's not a ghost. Check that one off, or
and does this happen nightly? Does it happen monthly?
Right.
What's the frequency of it? Because I feel that if it were happening, nightly, for sure, you would be able to get corroborating evidence through having people come and help you try to freaking identify what's going on here. Because if I was experiencing things like that, I would start poking around and reaching out to, open-minded individuals to come and verify that I'm not going cuckoo. I want somebody else to see what I'm seeing, especially if it's happening regularly. Is it so regular that you can pretty much predict when it's going to happen, or hey, come out to my house and spend the weekend. It happens every other Thursday night. This weekend or this Thursday is the other Thursday night.
If I'm reading into this correctly, it was over a 15-year period, and they've seen it quite frequently. Now, I think if I was seeing it all the time, I would definitely invite a neighbor over. In fact, I would go run. Now, I don't know the distance between his neighbors. I don't know how close they were. People don't give all these details when they send me these things, but the first thing I would do is run to my neighbor, or get their phone number and have them come over. Or do you see? If obviously from the mountains, I'm sure that the entire block or the entire neighborhood, however it was set up, would see it as well, right? Sure. It just could not be just presented to these two folks. Or maybe it was.
Maybe it was. It goes in my mind back to the psychological or visual experiments that could be being performed terrestrially on us by something extraterrestrial. They're not abducting you to do it.
Yeah, I'm thinking it was meant for them because how do you explain Idaho? Right? They move.
Well, yeah, clearly it's targeting them, whatever it is. They're the focus of it. But you want to know, are other people seeing it too? Like you said, these are lights in the sky. They can't be the only people seeing this light show on the mountain.
Yeah. If I'm just being me, good old Rob, and if I'm living there and I see this light show, I would probably bring it up in passing to my neighbors, but I don't think it was something where I would just freak out about. I would think it's part of I would think it's somewhat natural. If we're going back to Rob of 20 years ago, I wouldn't think anything paranormal. I would just think that it was just a light show up in the mountains, not knowing anything about Mother Nature.
Right.
Start researching it if it seemed a tad bit odd to me. Yeah, but I would, like you said, probably bring it up to my neighbors or people in town, because you cannot, again, be the only people seeing that light show unless you are the only people seeing the light show.
Right.
It's
Yeah.
not that you're hallucinating it, not that you're imagining it, but it's somehow only, in your ability to see. And then that would raise a lot more questions for me personally.
Exactly.
Werewolf says, fire on the mountain, lightning in the sky. Yeah, I've heard of that.
It's a song. Lyrics.
It is. That's where I remember it from. That's how I know it.
Oh, now I got it in my head. Thanks, werewolf.
Thanks to everybody for coming on in. If I didn't say hi, we all love everybody. You guys are awesome chat room. Thank you. And the other thing, you guys, and Monica, you brought up the point, or Krista, whichever, maybe both. Then the dark cloud and the rain that washes it away. So I was trying to think about that when you posed the question. So you think that maybe, let's say that this was extraterrestrials and they wanted something from this family, this couple. And do you think that maybe that was, I don't want to say the word guardian angel, but do you think that maybe that was some otherworldly that was protecting them from keeping these creatures from advancing? Because they were advancing during the email until this water, the rain washed it away. And it seemed like this was the only part of the property where it rained. So you think there was something else? Hey, maybe it was an adversary of these. I'm just talking out loud, out of the box. I have no idea, right? But maybe it was an adversary of these creatures that were fighting and protecting Rick and Amber, perhaps. I don't know.
Mm-hmm.
I mean,
At this point,
yeah.
Well, yeah.
Because why would they make an advancement, show themselves, turn into these ghastly creatures, then all of a sudden the rain washes them away? It stopped them from their advancement because they have apparently wanted to get closer, but they were stopped. So I don't think I think they were stopped by something else. I'm just, again, I don't know. Hell, I don't know.
Yeah, I don't know either.
Yeah.
That's pretty weird, though.
There's a lot of questions for all of it. Like the whole thing is like a lot of questions.
Everything about it. Yeah.
Like when they were washed away, did they just fade into the water?
From what I remember, again, I didn't read it. I just did that from memory. What I remember is it just washed them away. The rain, the big dark cloud, the cloud came, the rain fell, and as the rain hit the ground and hit these beings, or whatever you want to call them, they were, as he said, washed away.
Evaporated, like just, okay.
Yeah, kind of like,
Well, I sure wouldn't like that either. Where'd the water from the rain go? Because those things are in the water from the rain.
Oh, Monica.
Now
I got this seeping in my property on my land.
Yeah.
The evil is washing my land now.
My crops are going to start sprouting a little funky. Like what's going? Have you ever seen The Color from Space, or read The Color from Space from H.P. Lovecraft? It's about pretty lights. It's pretty colors. And you know what? Yeah. And they start seeing weird things around the farm. It's this farmland where aliens are coming down, essentially.
Yeah.
Yeah, I've heard of the acid rain, but yeah, maybe. But of course, this is contrived. This is planned. This rain came from something to prevent the advancement of these beings, right? That's what I'm gathering. I have no idea. I'd love to be sitting in some of these people's backyards when I get this stuff. to see it, firsthand.
Well, are they seeing it currently, or I mean, when he
Well, at the
communicated?
end, well, always, all the time. It was quite a frequent thing in Utah. Then it gets cloudy after that. Idaho, the trail, the lights on the trail. They go
Yeah.
away. They get home later on in the evening. The identical thing happened on their property from Utah,
How
and
long ago
then
was this?
the guy goes on to tell me that he's since moved and didn't give me his other locations. So
Gotcha.
apparently they probably feel something is
Well, was this
attached to them, perhaps. I don't
Well,
know.
sure, I would too. It followed me from another state. But was this within the last 5 years, the last 10 years?
Right.
Because phones with cameras.
Mm-hmm.
If I
I
remember correctly,
videoing the crap out of
he lived in Utah I'm trying to remember, from 2013 to 2018. So, no, 2013. No, 15 years. This is current because he said he sent me this email. He said he moved to Idaho in 2022. So if
Okay.
you back 15 years off of that, that's
Well, I mean, even the things in Idaho in 2022.
yeah. Let's go there.
Like, I'm not saying everybody has a phone with the camera, but like the vast majority of the world has a phone with a camera. And if
2022.
there were some weird lights and some weird things happening, you can bet your bottom that I'd be like getting some evidence with the old phone,
Yeah.
Now, again, I can only get so much from the guy what he's told me. So
Sure.
I certainly would have been snapping pictures. Hell, I would have been snapping. Hell, back in Utah, if he had the throwaway camera, you're damn well I'm taking pictures. Of course I am.
I mean,
I'm showing my friends and family. I'm for sure. I'm showing the neighbors.
I mean,
That's
even
what I
back in
would
the
do.
80s or 90s, I would have had the old, disposable camera.
Yeah.
On.
What was that one camera where you took the picture and it came out of the camera?
Polaroid.
I think I wasn't born back at that time, was I?
Yeah,
You guys remember that?
I remember it from my childhood.
Mm-hmm. Me too.
Do you guys remember the camera where they pulled that chain and black smoke appeared?
Remember that one?
You remember that?
Not that one.
This is Jesse James captures. Remember those?
Where you have to stand still for 30 seconds for it to completely capture.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
That's funny. I do have a tintype from like my 3 times great grandparents. I have their photos.
Wow. Oh, that's funny.
It's funny though. What's kind of cool is how people really we talk about our technology today, how we have all these geniuses that come up with the internet and smartphones, whatever. But you gotta remember, there's a lot of smart people back way, way back when, just to think of how to come up with making a camera. Where they even come up with those ideas. The smart people throughout the world. It doesn't matter what era you lived in.
Yep.
That's why the human mind is probably the most powerful computer in the world, and we only tap into 6% of it.
Mm-hmm. Not much of it.
If that, I think 3%.
That's why you can come out of a coma knowing languages you didn't know you knew.
Right.
See, to me, I think that's a past life thing.
It could be. To quote Ghostbusters, past life intruding on present time.
Yeah.
Oh, sure.
Well, girls, I'm going to wrap it up. I think it's almost 90 minutes. That's all that I had, unless you guys have anything interesting you'd like to add. I think I've been. Go ahead. Who says something?
Well, I was just going to say, and it's kind of, I don't know if it's part of the strange news or what, but did you guys see that the Navy fired Helios laser from their ship, and it looks like something straight out of Star Trek?
I did not.
Wow, I did not.
You got to check it out. It is insane. It's like this giant laser beam.
Oh,
And
wow.
they blew a drone out of the sky with it. But the size of the beam from the distance they were from that ship seems a little overkill for a drone.
Wow.
Whoa, really?
Yeah, check it out. It's HELIOS. It's the Helios laser.
I'm writing that down.
Yeah.
I am too.
And it was all over the news, or I was all over my news feed, like midweek.
I'll check it out for sure.
Yeah, Helios. Which reminds me, Monica, Helios was a character in the Dean Koontz Frankenstein novels, which I highly recommend you get.
Oh, okay. I'll check it
1,
out.
2, and 3. I tell you what, I read all 3 in 2 days.
Oh, really?
Back when I was like an avid reader. I haven't. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
It's not like Frankenstein, like Boris Karloff. It's not like you think. It's more modern day. Great story. Helios was the name of the company.
It's also the Greek god of the sun. So
yeah, that was the Frankenstein. I think no, his name was that Helios was the doctor, I think, or the company. But anyway, if I know you like to read, that's great. Get that.
I will.
Look it
I
up
love
anyway.
Coons.
Yeah, I know. I remember you saying that before. That was cool. But this has been a pretty fun show, you guys. I mean, Bizarre News was kind of interesting. That story was certainly interesting.
It's always a good show on Saturday night.
Yeah, like Saturday's the kickback show. If you're new here, we do other stuff throughout the week. We're on 7 days a week. If you're new, please subscribe to Bigfoot Michigan Rob on YouTube. Krista with the Blondes and the Booze Paranormal podcast along with Brandi. And Brandi, you guys, she's always a regular here. The girl's internet is just
awful.
No.
Yeah.
Monica's always with me, our paranormal world.
Because I know that Brandi had every intention of being here tonight and Donnie Joe's show. So
we were on Donnie's. We talked a little football on Donnie's show. It's kind of a fun show, interesting show. Donnie's always interesting. Donnie Joe says stuff. Check him out. Paranormal Paul, check him out.
Oh crap! I did it under your name. I'm sorry.
That's all right.
I put a link to one of the articles. Sorry.
Oh, thanks. No, that's cool.
Somebody had asked for it, and I put the link to the article about the laser.
Yeah. Also, really briefly, thank you to Mayhem, $2. I appreciate you. T-Bone, 10 new pirates. Mateys, 10 more gifted pirates. Thank you so much, T-Bone. Thanks for everybody for coming on in. Oh, don't forget, just hit that like button on your way out if you have not hit it already. Promotes the shows, the algorithms, so on and so forth. I had a great time as always. I tell you what, I like all of our shows, all of them. I do, and I mean it when I say that. But I like the Saturday night show. You just kick back, chill.
I do too.
It's kind of you don't really have to prepare too much, but it's kind of cool. I like it.
I do too.
Texas, I don't know where Texas has been, but I like hanging out with the ladies anyway. So thanks for coming on in. I've got to, and Texas on 20 days, he's on 20 nights a day. It seems like.
I think he was on with Brent tonight. He's been doing Brent's show on Saturday. So.
Yeah, he's sitting in it with him, which is cool. Good. Expand your horizons. I'm BMR for Krista, for Monica. Until next time, like, share, subscribe. For those of you that watch the NFL, I'm rooting for the Chiefs.
Me too.
I'm rooting for history, not because I like the Chiefs, but because I like history and I want 3 Super Bowls for them.
Yeah, 3-peat.
After that, they can, fall off a cliff.
I agree. One more time this year, and then next year I'll vote for someone else.
Did you say vote?
Yeah, I'll root for someone else. Put it that way.
Very, very good. No, I knew what you said. I just wanted to make sure.
I did say vote. I'm tired.
Yeah. Well, now we back to show up. We used to start at midnight now we start at 11.
Yeah.
Just as we're all getting up there. We kind of need our
yeah.
Although I don't go to bed.
I'm blaming it because I got up early and I had to have a kid at school by 6:55 this morning. So that's yeah. So
I usually don't go to bed around 2 or 3 usually, especially on the weekends, because this is what I do on the weekend, you guys. I'm out there, I'm home on the weekends. Oh boy. Anyways, thanks guys. Thanks everybody. Hit the like button and we are out until next time.
See y'all.
Bye.
This is the future. Evolution. This is the future. Evolution.